The olive trees stand motionless in the Garden of Gethsemane. It is night. The air is still. Somewhere beyond the grove, torches flicker, small points of fire moving through the darkness, drawing closer. A group of men advances along the path. At their head walks one who knows the way. He has walked it before, many times, in different circumstances. Now he walks it for the last time. Behind him come soldiers, temple guards, servants of the chief priests. They carry lanterns, they carry weapons, but they do not know which man they seek. They need a sign. The Gospel of Matthew records the arrangement. Chapter 26, verses 48 through 50. The evangelist writes, "Now the betrayer had arranged a signal with them. 'The one I will kiss is the man. Arrest him.' Going at once to Jesus, Judas said, 'Greetings, Rabbi,' and kissed him. Jesus replied, 'Do what you came for, friend.' The transaction is complete in 3 verses. A sign agreed upon, a sign delivered, a man seized. But within those 3 verses lies a weight that centuries of commentary have not exhausted. A kiss, the sign of love, the gesture of greeting between teacher and disciple, between friends, between those bound by trust. This is what Judas chose. Not a pointed finger, not a spoken accusation, not a hand laid on the shoulder. A kiss. The Gospel of Mark, chapter 14, verse 44, preserves the instruction Judas gave to the arresting party. 'The one I will kiss is the man. Seize him and lead him away under guard.' The precision is deliberate. There must be no mistake. There must be no confusion in the darkness. The sign must be unmistakable. And so Judas selects the most intimate gesture available to him, the greeting reserved for those one honors, those one loves, those with whom one shares the bond of discipleship. He converts it into a marker for death. The kiss becomes a target painted on flesh. What was created to express union is deployed to accomplish destruction. St. John Chrysostom, in his homilies on the Gospel of Matthew, reflects on the nature of this perversion. He observes that Judas did not merely betray Christ, he betrayed him with the instrument of affection. The kiss, Chrysostom notes, was the customary greeting of a disciple to a master. It signified reverence. It signified belonging. For Judas to use this sign as the mechanism of arrest was to hollow out the gesture entirely, to drain it of its meaning while preserving its form. The shape of love remained. The substance had been removed. What the soldiers witnessed in Gethsemane was a counterfeit, a motion that looked like devotion, but served as execution. The torches draw nearer. The light falls unevenly across the trees. Jesus stands waiting. He has been praying. He has asked his disciples to watch with him, and they have fallen asleep. Now he wakes them. The hour has come. The betrayer approaches, but the Gospel of Luke introduces a detail that alters the sequence. Chapter 22, verses 47 and 48. Judas comes forward to kiss Jesus, and before the kiss lands, Christ speaks. He says, "Judas, would you betray the Son of Man with a kiss?" The question is not an inquiry. Jesus does not ask because he does not know. He asks to name what is happening, to expose it, to offer Judas one final moment of confrontation with his own act. The question functions as a mirror. Judas is shown his own reflection. He is called by name. The method is identified. The object, the Son of Man, is declared. Everything is laid bare in the darkness of the garden, and yet the kiss is given regardless. Judas presses forward. The lips make contact. The sign is delivered. What passed through the space between Christ's question and Judas's act? The Gospels do not say. There is no recorded hesitation, no pause, no withdrawal. The question hangs in the night air, and the answer comes not in words but in the pressure of a mouth against a cheek. Judas does not speak. He does not defend himself. He does not explain. He simply completes the gesture he came to complete. The silence is the answer. The Gospel of John offers another dimension. Chapter 18, verses 2 through 6. John does not record the kiss at all. Instead, he records something else, something that reveals the nature of the one being arrested. Judas arrives with the detachment of soldiers and officials. Jesus, knowing all that was going to happen, steps forward. He does not wait to be identified. He does not hide among his disciples. He asks, "Who is it you want?" They answer, "Jesus of Nazareth." And he replies, "I am he." At these words, ego eimi, the divine declaration, the soldiers draw back and fall to the ground. St. Augustine, in his tractates on the Gospel of John, meditates on this moment. He emphasizes that Christ's arrest was not an overpowering, it was a permission. The soldiers fell before him at the sound of his voice. They could not stand in the presence of the I Am, and yet he allowed them to rise. He allowed them to bind him. He allowed himself to be led away. Augustine insists that nothing happened to Christ that he did not permit. The hands that seized him had no power except what was given from above. The ropes that bound him held only because he willed to be held. This is the paradox that the Passion narratives preserve. The one who could not be taken was taken. The one before whom armed men collapsed permitted himself to be arrested by those same men. And the sign that initiated this arrest, the kiss, was received without resistance. Christ did not turn his face. He did not step back. He received the lips of his betrayer. St. Thomas Aquinas, in the Summa Theologiae, 3rd part, question 46, article 5, considers the fittingness of Christ's passion, beginning with betrayal by a friend. Aquinas argues that this mode of suffering was appropriate because it magnified the injustice of the passion and thereby magnified the merit of Christ's endurance. To be handed over by one who had shared his table, who had heard his teaching, who had been numbered among the 12, this was a wound deeper than any inflicted by strangers. The betrayal by Judas was not incidental to the passion. It was integral. It represented the full spectrum of human rejection, not only the hostility of enemies but the faithlessness of friends. Aquinas further notes that betrayal by a friend carries a particular gravity because it violates a particular trust. The bond between Christ and his apostles was not merely professional or political. It was covenantal. Judas had been called. Judas had been sent out to preach. Judas had been entrusted with the common purse. When he approached with the kiss, he came not as an outsider but as an intimate, and intimacy betrayed cuts more deeply than enmity declared. The sign is given. The soldiers step forward. Matthew records that they seized Jesus. The disciples, those who had sworn to die with him, scatter into the darkness. Peter will follow at a distance. The rest disappear. And Judas stands in the garden, his role complete. He has done what he came to do. The 30 pieces of silver wait for him. The chief priests have what they wanted. The machinery of condemnation begins to turn. But in the Gospel of Matthew, there is one more word spoken before the arrest, a word that will not be silenced by commentary, a word that remains lodged in the narrative like a splinter. When Judas says, "Greetings, Rabbi," and kisses him, Jesus replies, "Friend, do what you came for." The Greek word is heteros, not the word for a beloved companion, but the word for an associate, a comrade, one who shares a common enterprise. It is the same word used in the parable of the wedding feast, when the king addresses the man without a garment. "Friend, how did you get in here?" It carries no warmth, but it carries acknowledgement. It names a relationship, even a relationship in ruins. Christ calls Judas friend at the moment of betrayal. Not before, in the days of discipleship. Not after, in some scene of reconciliation that never came. At the moment itself, with the kiss still wet on his face, with the soldiers closing in, he speaks the word. What is this word? Is it irony? Is it sorrow? Is it one last offer? The Gospels do not explain. The theologians differ. What remains undeniable is that the word was spoken, and it was not withdrawn. Judas heard himself named not as enemy, not as traitor, but as friend, and he did not respond. He had already said everything he would say with his lips. The torches begin to move away. Christ is led into the night, toward the house of the high priest, toward the trials, toward the cross. The disciples are gone. The garden falls silent. Somewhere in that silence stands Judas Iscariot, the one who gave the sign. He chose the kiss. He was offered the question. He heard himself called friend, and he completed the act anyway. The olive trees witness nothing. The darkness takes everything. What remains is only this: a gesture that meant love, used for betrayal. A question that named the sin, answered with silence. A word of relation spoken to one who had severed all relation. No comfort is offered. No resolution is given, only the fading torchlight, the retreating footsteps, and the sound of an unreturned word echoing where no one remains to hear it.